A long time ago, I translated Menucha Vesimcha, and I have been tending to get back to the Semer to say something of the Perush about it, but the world being what it is, I was not able to get back to it until now. I would like to dedicate this to a Refuah Shlema for my Rebbe, Rav Chaim Meir ben Milcha. Menucha Vesimcha, like many other of the early Zmiros, is not necessarily clear who wrote it. In fact, there are even commentaries that we don't know. There's a commentary from Rishon known as Shabbos Shalmi. Who's Shabbos? Because we don't know the author of this commentary on Masechto Shabbos. Sometimes suggestions are made that do not seem reasonable because they're the author, the signon, the style, does not match the particular piece that we're looking at. Here, it has been suggested that Menucha Vesimcha was also authored by the author of Kol Mekadesh Shvi. However, it seems very unlikely. The style is entirely different. Some people say we have no idea who authored it. Others say it was written by Moshe ben Meshulam Kolonimus. Meshulam Kolonimus was the author of Nisan Tokev, which all of us are familiar with from Rosh Hashanah and Kippur. This would match the style of the other things we have from him, and it seems to be the appropriate time and place, meaning northern Italy, very early period of Rishonim, late period of the Gonim. In any case, we start Menucha Vesimcha or Yehudim. There is rest and rejoicing, light for the Jewish people. There are three sides to Shabbos. There is the physical resting aspect of Shabbos. There is the spiritual clinging that lightens the day, the simcha of Shabbos. And there's also the Torah aspect of Shabbos. Or zu Torah, as the Gemara says, light refers to the Torah. In Aramaic, we say oraisa, literally, the light. So these three aspects of Shabbos, and if you think of it, we have Kadosh, 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 three aspects of God's Kedusha, and many other things that come this way, are in the first staff. Yom Shabbason, Yom Machmadim. It is the sabbatical day, the day of delights, meaning we try to have our best foods. There are stories, different ways that Hillel and Shammai honored Shabbos and throughout the week, setting aside something. When we find something great, this is for Shabbos. I find something better, I use the first thing, and I say the second thing is for Shabbos. And always throughout, we count the week throughout the Hayom Yom Rishon LaShabbos. Today is the first day from Shabbos. Today is the second day from Shabbos. Shabbos is always the most beloved part. Shomrav v'zochrav hemami'idim. Those that guard it and remember it, they testify. Ki l'shisha kol bruim ve'omdim. Because in 6 days, everything was created and standing up and ready. We say Shemoras Yom HaShabbos L'Kadsho and Zechoras Yom HaShabbos L'Kadsho. There is that we're told that both of these things were said b'dibur echad. When God gave the Aseret Dibros, he said both Shemor and Zechor simultaneously. And when the Shemor aspect is the negative aspects of Shabbos, and the Zechor is the positive aspects of Shabbos. So when we have these things all together, we testify. When we have every time we do a positive aspect on Shabbos, every time we refrain from something that negative on Shabbos that we would have done in a normal day, we testify that God created the world in 6 days. And the Gemara in Shabbos on Kuf Yates says, Kola Omer v'yachulu, ki ilu nasik shutav l'kodesh baruch hu b'maseh reishis. Anyone who says v'yachulu, the paragraph that we say at the beginning of Kiddush, which is a positive aspect. So we're supposed to remember it as it enters and leaves. We're supposed to remember it in the entrance of Shabbos by saying Kiddush, and at the end of Shabbos by saying Havdalah. So when we do these things, we become a partner with the Kodesh Baruch Hu in creation, because the Maharsha explains that if we did not keep the Shabbos properly, it would not be known to the world that there was such a concept as Shabbos, of God creating the world and then resting. And therefore, making something known is similar to as if we had done it ourselves. So therefore, we become the partners with HaKadosh Baruch Hu when we testify to these things, when we testify to the fact that God created the world in 6 days and rested on the seventh, and when we observe the Shabbos, we are becoming the partners of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the creation of the world. There is another idea that is hinted at another point in the Zemer as well, and that is that through keeping Shabbos we create Kedusha. I said that the most probable author of the Zemer is Moshe ben Meshulam Klonimus, the son of the author in the son of Tokef. In the son of Tokef, we say that the angels, Chil Urada Yochezun V'Yomru Hine Yom Hadin, that they are seized with trembling and they say, "Behold, here is the day of judgment." What do the angels have to be afraid of? And the fact is that angels need sustenance too. They don't need physical food, they need spiritual substance. What kind of spiritual year is it going to be? What kind of Torah, uplifting Torah light will there be? What type of simcha, rejoicing, spiritual rejoicing we will have in Shabbos, spiritual contentment? What kind of rest will we have on Shabbos? All of these things that we do create the Kedusha necessary for the world to exist throughout the 6 days of creation, the following 6 days of creation. And therefore, just like the angels, so to speak, tremble on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur as to what type of year is going to be decreed for them, so too we have the same issues for ourselves. What kind of spirituality are we creating for the upcoming week? We are supposed to, as we go through Shabbos, grow and develop. There is an idea, the Gemara says, that Shabbos is both Zachar and Nekeva, both masculine and feminine. And sometimes the Gemara shows some places where Shabbos is referred to in the Chumash as masculine, some places as feminine. And from this, we have the idea that Friday night is Zman Nekeva, is a feminine time, and that we can influence it. Shabbos morning, when you wake up in the morning, Shabbos is already here, it influences us, that's masculine. And in Tefillah, we recognize this by saying Ve'anuchu va, and we rest in it, feminine, Friday night. Ve'anuchu vo, we rest in it, masculine, Shabbos morning. Ve'anuchu vam, we rest in them at Mincha. So we're supposed to bring things together. By the end of Shabbos, it's supposed to be a point where we unite and bring things together. Shemei Shemaim Eretz V'Yamim, the heavens of the heavens, the land, and the oceans. This is really referring to the 7 Rikim, the 7 heavens, 7 firmaments, whatever firmaments are. Kol Tzva Maram Gvuhim V'Ramim, all of the host of heavens, high up and exalted. That God created all of these things. They're all completely and totally under his control, but also they're dependent for their Kedusha on God's maintaining them. And God maintains them because of, as the Alshech, the Orach Chaim say, through our keeping of Shabbos. Tanin ve'adam. Tanim are the serpents, the great sea creatures, the Leviathan. It is the skin of this Leviathan that will form the sukkah that all of Klal Yisrael will eat in when Mashiach comes. Meaning the Leviathan is this great, powerful creature that exists to be the shade of the tzaddikim in the appropriate time when Mashiach comes. God created it and man, the chayas remim, and the wild animals, keep beka Hashem tzuralimim, because with the name, the two-letter name of God, God created the world. It says behibaram in the second parak of Bereshis that he created them, but the hey is sort of superfluous there. And Rashi points out it's with the hey of Hashem's name, of the two-letter word of Hashem's name, that God created the physical world, and it's with the yud that he created the spiritual world. So these things that are both spiritual and physical, heavens and contrasting to earth, and the Shabbos is a joining point, because through the way we physically observe Shabbos here, we create spiritual enlightenment. And God formed his world with the interaction of these two parts. This is the first part of Menucha Vesimcha, but as Hashem, next week I will cover the second part of it. Everyone should have a wonderful day. And again, Moreno Rabbeinu, Harav Chaim Meir ben Milcha should have a refuah shlema.